Hey, we back, everybody. We back. Hey, like I said, the first and second hour has really been great, really informational. And Mr. Charlie Miller is definitely bringing it today. Now, let me go to Mr. Jeffrey Deskovic real quick, and then we're going to roll with Mr. Charlie Miller because we need to finish up real quick. And, we got our next guest that'll be coming in. Jeffrey, what do you think about, this whole conversation today in the second hour?
Yeah, I have to say that you definitely give full airing to many different points of view and perspectives, and that would be how I would categorize that. I mean, freedom of speech is important in this country, and I salute you for providing opportunity for that this last hour.
Oh yeah, thank you. But the thing about it is, I think everybody needs to be heard, because the worst thing you can do is tell somebody to shut up. And it always hurted me as a kid. I used to have a grandfather. He wouldn't say be quiet. He would say shut up. Now, that hurt. I'd rather, if he'd have said, hey, be quiet. Okay, I can take it. But just shut up. Shut up hurts. Shut up makes you act out. You get what I'm saying, Jeffrey?
Absolutely. No, I absolutely.
Right.
Because
So
I don't feel like freedom of speech should be just for the privilege. That's supposed to be for everybody.
That's right.
So, to the extent that radio reaches is a format and a forum that you can reach many more people than what you can in an ordinary conversation, man. I think that's, again, it's great to give free exercise of freedom of speech.
That's right.
And not just the views and opinions we agree with, but give a view to everybody and let listeners decide. Right.
And that's why I felt, Mr. Charlie Miller, I felt this platform is for him as well. Because, Jeffrey, we all don't believe in the same thing. And it might be a lot of people that really feel truly about what Mr. Miller is saying. But all I'm saying today is, if you go out and you do anything that I didn't tell you to do, Jeffrey didn't tell you to do, and, Mr. Miller, he's not just saying, go out and just try it right now for the hell of it. No, he's saying if you put in that position, but no, if you do any of that, you did that on your own. We didn't coach you to go do it. We just told you the facts of what your rights are, but if you do anything, you're doing it on your own. Don't make it a reflection of my show, me and Jeffrey's show. But, you follow through on what you feel. We all have freedom of speech. We all have, to right to think for ourselves. So that's what I want people to understand. So, Mr. Miller, I want to come right back to you. And I want to say that I get what you're saying 100%. But the bad thing about it is, okay, it goes back to this. I was thinking about this on break. Like you said, we going to go back to the tailgate, and it's only 14 of us. Us 14 go down, but yet we have no rally and support to even support our decision to stand up for everybody. Does that make sense?
Well, I stand under the law.
I hear you.
Here's a question for everybody.
Okay.
If the law protects you and you do not access it, what protections do you have coming? How can we go to a court system that we know is corrupt, the judges are bribed, the prosecutor and the defense attorney all work for the same private association, and expect anything? We screwed ourselves by our own actions at that point.
You're right about that,
So,
but the thing about it... I'm sorry.
What I decided to do was to return to the foundation of this country.
Right.
And look at where the authorities came from, and that's what I rely on.
Right.
Here's how simple it is to me. If it's written down and these people get paid to perform under it, there's only two choices why they're not. They either made a mistake or they did it by intent.
Okay.
And if they're holding me subject to something I do not consent to, when I'm the grantor of all the power to the government, that's what the documents say, there is no question about that, then they're holding me to slavery. Is it that simple? I think so.
I get what you're saying, but the thing about it is, when it comes to the court system, where we seeing the problem, Mr. Miller, is a lot of people just don't have the proper tools and knowledge to deal with the court system. And half of the time, it goes back to what I guess said at first. By the time the police interrogate you, by the time they make you feel like if you don't say this, you can get life, but you can get 20 years if you say this, they already so shaken up and so messed up that, they really can't think for themselves then. But,
Well, I agree, but see, I cannot deal with all of their problems.
Right.
What I can deal with is the issues that I deal with, period. And I will do that to my last dying breath. Now, I can tell you that my experiences and what I've done and the writings that I've done over the last 25 years have had a massive effect. So I can make a statement right now, you can make a statement right now, and we never know, ever, how far that effect carries in any individual and how far down the line.
That's right.
I ran into a child last summer who was 12 years old and didn't like to read, and I explained it to him this way. If you read this book that's 100 years old, that's like having a one-way conversation that's with somebody that's dead, isn't it?
That's right.
When you put these thoughts out and you do these actions, you can't see where they stop. But if they're set with the right intent, with the right foundation and the right law, what massive effect could they have? I deal in the world of facts. I deal in the world of law. I deal in the world of procedure, which is all cut and dried. Why? Because those things, no one can say that they feel this or feel that. It's just the way it is. So show me why it's not this way. And I can guarantee you, I'm 65 years old. I've been married, I've had children, I had a good life. I was a general contractor, master tradesman in a couple of trades. And these principles apply to all facets of every kind of life. Principles first, facts second, law third, procedure fourth. No one ever wins an argument, and you can't find a solution unless you're looking for it.
That's right. But the thing,
simple.
Right. But the thing about it is, what we're trying to do today, and even with me bringing you through the show today, we all are definitely trying to have a great conversation where we can agree to disagree. But the thing about it is, just as long as we all can talk, we all can come up with a solution. So I do agree with you on that 100%. But the thing about it is, okay.
Two websites that you can access with massive amounts of information.
Okay, let's call them out.
One is the Public Trust 1776.org, and the other one is freedomrequireswork.org.
Okay. So, everybody, like Mr. Miller said, you can definitely go to that website, check it out, see what's on it for you, see what you understand. Whatever you don't understand, they can email you. And do you email back? You correspond back with the people that write you, Mr. Miller?
Only with pertinent questions.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm 65, and I refuse to deal with stupid people.
I hear you.
We have a promise that we live under. We don't lie, cheat, or steal. We don't deal with people that do.
Right.
We will use anyone and anything to achieve two goals, which is cleaning up this money system, public money for private use. That means we, the people, own the money, where the banks and everybody else borrows from us and pays interest. And the second is get rid of the crooked bar. We will never ask anyone to do anything or be involved in anything we haven't done or won't do, period.
I hear you.
That's our promise. We live with it day by day, and I've operated under that for 25 years.
Well, what I want to do, I definitely want to bring you back through on another show, and I definitely want to talk about the money and what you were saying about the housing problem and all that. I definitely want you to, pull our coattails on that and definitely, bring us up to speed on the knowledge and the problems you done seen with that situation. Because I know a lot of people are under that umbrella right now, of what's going on with the housing. And believe me, it's holes in the umbrella. They getting rained on. They play like it's an umbrella, but it's holes in the umbrella. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looks more like a very largely spaced screen mesh, doesn't it?
Yeah, that too. You're definitely right about that. But I definitely want you to come back through and let's talk about, the banks, and let's definitely talk about the housing situation. I think you definitely brought a lot of insight on the show today. And I like shows like this where we definitely, it's a thinking show. And there was a lot of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But I love that you said, well, I can go one step further. Here's two websites. Go check it out for yourself, because I tell all my guests, definitely go check out anything that, my guests say. Go check it out for yourself. Hey, read it for yourself and see what you get a feel for. And if you feel you can work something that's in your favor, hey, that's on you, but it was your choice. So you definitely been a great guest today, and I'm definitely glad to have you on the show. And I do want you to come back, like I said, for that other show with the banking and the housing, and, definitely put us up on some good information to find out, about that also.
We can do that. Thank you very much for the time and appreciate your open-mindedness.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Aloha.
All right. Have a good one. All right, sir, everybody. That was Mr. Charles C. Miller, who definitely brung it, strong. And definitely, like I said, he gave y'all 2 websites. Y'all can definitely go to those websites and see what worked for you all, But like I said, just certain things, for me, I just got to do it my way right now to achieve what I need to achieve. Not saying nobody's wrong. We all can agree to disagree. But like I said, he definitely was coming with a lot of facts, definitely coming with a lot of what he felt. Now, if they facts, that's what you'll read and you'll find out, if those facts are good for you. And, some people heard some of the facts that wasn't good for them. So, Jeffrey, what did you think about the guest?
Very unusual views. I respect different thoughts. I mean, to me, the idea that you can just declare that you don't agree with the system and therefore you don't have to adhere to it, and that if you put them on notice, then they'll agree to just exempt you from all the laws. I mean, look, Cogee, I'd like to make U-turns in the middle of the streets, and I'd like to stop filing taxes, and I don't feel like having to pay insurance on my car, and so let's get rid of that law too. And but the reality is, if you go down that road, I mean, there's going to be consequences, and I'm going to ignore you. But like I said before, I mean, you brought the guest on the show. He had a chance to express his views, and people will probably be exposed to a way of thinking that they most likely haven't encountered before.
Right. The problem is a lot of people ain't being able to be heard. And I feel like with this show, we at least letting people be heard, because we rather them to be heard than to act out and be seen. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Like you said before, I mean, one of the worst things is, tell people to shut up or stifle them, or, lack of expression. That's not a good thing either. I mean, free speech isn't simply for popular speech. It has to be for all speech, even if we may not agree with what's being said. We got to stand up for everybody's right to say it.
That's right. You're definitely right about that, because one thing about this show and about me and you, Jeffrey, we are of class, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
That's right. We got my main man on here. Now, this is somebody who's been through the show a few times. And when I say Mr. Nick Yarris, I mean, talking about knowledge, he's ready to bring it with no chaser. So I really want y'all to get ready. And that's why I wanted him in my last hour, because I know how he's going to bring it in this last hour. It's always a treat for him to come through with me and Jeffrey. And so I'm going to make this a quick break, because I really want to get Nick in. He's newly married. He's doing his thing. I'm so proud of him. He's done made a great comeback being falsely accused. He done got out, changed his life. He done moved forward, and we're going to talk about all that. So I want y'all to stay locked in and stay tuned in, and we'll be right back. Hey, we back, everybody. I had to get that out of my system. Had to shake that off. That hour was a little rough.
There's some smoke.
Yeah, some smoke. It's smoke left all over the stage. But that's the way we like it here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a good conversation. It was very engaging, where I know people wanted to keep listening. My co-host, Miss Paula, what you think about that? Was it engaging?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he has an intellectual argument, which is quite different than reality arguments, I guess. So that's all I can kind of really say on that. Not that the stuff isn't informative,
right? But
how do you take that kind of information and live with it and use it on a daily basis?
You got to do your homework to use that kind of information. Right. It's like college. They can give you all the books, yes, but you don't know how to really prepare for college until you read your books.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And do your background work. Mm-hmm. So I'm never going to discredit what he's saying, but I'm telling people to do their homework. You know what I'm saying?
And living it is differently too. Yeah. Even if you do all the homework that you've got, like even in college,
some of that
actually doing it and living it is very different than reading something in a book.
That's right. So, you're definitely right about that. Jeffrey.
Yes.
I want you to give. Hold on. Jay, you was gonna give the intro for Nick. But I think Jeffrey should give the intro for Nick, because Nick is our family. This is a brotherhood right here with all of us 3. So, Jeffrey, go ahead and roll the red carpet for Mr. Nick Yarris.
Well, I'd like to bring into the show a man who survived 26 years of wrongful incarceration, not only falsely convicted, but also sentenced to death. I'd like to bring in the man who was the first person to use DNA to be exonerated from death row. Somebody who has had difficulties upon release, but who keeps fighting back and overcoming. A man whose will just seems to not be able to be broken, who's just come out with a book. I'd like to bring in Mr. Nick Yarris.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing, Mr. Nick Yarris?
How you doing, Cogee? How you doing, Jeff?
You know what? We are doing great, but we are so proud of you, man. You're newlywed, huh?
Yeah, so 3 months in, we finally, actually, we've been, having people over from England, so actually we haven't had a lot of time to ourselves. So today, in the last couple of days, we've been just enjoying the ride of the bicycle down to the beach and being normal and stuff like that. It's lovely living out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's cool, because let me tell you something. The first time you came on my show, you were very broken. You were jaded on a lot of different things. And this lovely young lady came out of nowhere and resurrected your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul.
There's a hell of a saying by a great writer in America. He said, looking back, I see now that the answer to everything was love. I guess that's true. Look,
Got that right.
the only reason that we do the things we do is for the love of others, or the love that we hold for others, and the things that are really important. I like that. No, I have my freedom, but more importantly, I have a choice. My choice has been to not be negative. You look at the life of Jeffrey Deskovic and you see the same example. And it's across the board with many people who've been exonerated. We don't want the world to be in chaos. We want it to actually be better for what we went through.
That's right.
And you think about that. I was in a room with Jeffrey, and there was 1,700 years of prison time being represented amongst the men that were standing with us, men and women. And every single one of them was a nice person. That's the wonderful thing of it. That's what I love about it. I have a brotherhood and a family, an extended family of over 1,000 U.S. citizens who have been exonerated since 1996. And every last one of them is just the nicest person in the world for what's happened to them. Ain't that remarkable?
That's right. You're definitely right about that. But you know
There's
what, Jeffrey?
Something about that.
I mean,
I think that's a wonderful thing. I'm sorry to go on. I just want to get this in.
Okay.
I like the fact that Jeffrey has done something. He's chosen to do something.
Right.
See, everybody can get out and just be the image of the Shawshank Redemption, just making a nice boat somewhere on the blue sea and forgetting it all. But that ain't what a soldier does, is it? That ain't what somebody who's been trounced does. No, in fact, I've just been called to arms, Cogee. Just as I call you today, I've been called to arms to end the death penalty in California. There's a man named Kevin Cooper, a brother from back east. He'd been called a quadruple murderer of family, where there's no possible way this man did this crime. And now that I found out about it, I'm going to break the death penalty in California just because of what I learned about this man suffering for 30 years on death row. No, that ain't going to happen where I'm living here. So that's what I come to share on the show.
I heard you.
I have now efficiently picked up the gauntlet and taken on the challenge by myself, and I'm going to use my new film and everything to end the death penalty in California.
Wow, that's deep.
700 men are sitting there, and they don't have the guts to go in there and kill them. And even if we let them kill them one at a month, it would take them 40 years to kill them all. So what's the point? Can't do it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the first thing that California hasn't been able to do. I'm get a death row prisoner out, and I'm making a documentary film to prove it along the way. So I am going to start a blog, and I'm going to show my efforts to go through the system and use my expertise as an examiner of the evidence to go about and interview some of the witnesses, and I dare them to lie to my face after what I suffered, and that's the key point in it. I'm going to use my personal history to interview people and get them to admit things that they wouldn't otherwise tell others.
Wow.
That's right.
And one thing I do know about you, if you say it, It is great to happen. I know.
Yes, sir. I mean this, Cogee.
I know.
Told you before I came out. I said, young man,
That's right.
I'm going to release my book. I'm moving to America. I'm going to change my fortune. I'm tired of having this injury. Oh, and guess what? God has blessed me. Boy, Jeffrey will tell you, I don't walk around all stooped over with back pain. I have no back pain in my life. In fact, I gave Jeffrey a big old hug on stage, and we had an intimate moment. You can tell I ain't nothing but fit. That is a miracle in my life. So I'm energized by the fact that I'm no longer in physical pain, and I'm out doing all this wonderful stuff.
I know what it really is. It's that young girl you got.
It's that young love.
It's that young lady you got. That's what that is.
Well, we've been really blessed lately. I have my first official U.S. speech coming up on the 1st of May at Pitzer College out in California, and it's a great honor. In fact, I really have been really prepping for this because I'm about to do the thing that I truly love best. And it's a great feeling, and Jeffrey understands this. When you can get all these young people to wake up to a notion that is righteous, it is a powerful, powerful feeling. It is a wonderful reinforcement of good. And Cogee, I think that's the whole reason you're out there doing this, because guess what? Good's going to win. At the end of the day, even people who are the most hardcore still want to have a birthday party for the grandchildren and stuff. So good's going to win. Don't worry about it.
That's right. You know what? And that's why we definitely, stand in this fight. And I mean, it's so many people that really want to come on my show. They done contacted my producer. I mean, we got people lined up, and that's why me and Jeffrey got to move. And me and him having a meeting today after the show, and we definitely got to move forward on some other stuff that I got, Nick. But but you definitely are a part of it because, like I said,
I love it. Yeah, I'll always come back and support you. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do that. No, I like the fact that we got no choice. Listen, if you either wake up to what you want is the world around you to be better for the next generation. Like you are such a proud father, and I watch as you go out of your way, and people don't know this, but the whole reason you putting it out there, keep your hands off our children, is because one of them is yours in the community, and
right.
and to see all your activities to make sure she has a good life really makes me proud of you, and that's why I see what you're doing is coming from the heart, and your listeners get that. Listen, you can be somebody who could read a script beautifully, but no one would care. But if you talk from the heart, people get it. And that's what I love about your show, and that's why I was happy to come back on and talk to you again.
Thank you. And like I said, the reason why I wanted you to come on, because you are a go-getter. Let me tell you something. Now, what he said is the truth. When he first got out, he came on my show. He predicted everything that's happening to him right now and where he stands right now in his life with his wife, his new wife, and his movement that he's doing. Jeffrey, did he not say it on the show?
Yes, he did.
In January, I have a movie coming out at the Sundance Film Festival that is being backed by the same people who have the movie Blackfish into the theaters now. It is going to be advertised as a psychological thriller on a high level. I have musical artists who are releasing music to support the movie. We're going to have concerts in support of the film at Sundance and in New York and Los Angeles. A very gracious offer has been offered to me to have my film screened at over 1,500 universities across the United States across next year. So it's a very, very good platform for me to have, and I'm very eager to advance the opportunity for myself and my wife, obviously, for us to have stability in our lives, and that's a good thing. But I truly am caught up now with this notion of having a really good opportunity to help Kevin Cooper come home from death row and to finally make a change in the United States that is lasting. Beyond me, beyond what I want, that's what I want. I want to knock the death penalty out. When I first got out, I went to Europe and everything, and I fought in European countries for economic embargoes against the death penalty. And I really felt empowered by it, but it's a dangerous game. And I warned Jeffrey about this. If it becomes too much, you have to take time from it and go heal your life. And I needed to do that. I needed to go and make sure that I was okay so I could come forward and step forward and people would respect the fact that my life was okay. And it's a very hard balance, and it takes a lot to find that kind of luck. So, man, I don't know. I've just been getting so many blessings, and I'm so grateful for every opportunity I get to speak. Every single one matters.
I hear you. You definitely doing that. You know what? Let me go to Jeffrey real quick. Jeffrey, speak on Nick.
Well, just I think that that the being able to survive death row and the stuff that Nick has been through, that's I look at that as a step above just simply being wrongfully imprisoned. I was talking with some death row exonerees at the conference, and just the worry that you're going to be executed, for something that one's innocent of. I mean that was a frightening thing. I can't imagine that part of it, but Nick experienced it, and he's still in one piece mentally. He caught his second win. He recharged, and he's rejuvenated, and he has a renewed sense of determination. Definitely stronger than before. That's really saying something.
Jeffrey, wait a minute, Nick, 1 second, and then I want Nick, and then I want you to answer this question, but I want Jeffrey to answer it first. Jeffrey, how hard is it for an exoneree to catch a second win? What does it take to catch a second win?
I don't think there's really one answer. I think that there's a variety of different ways. Sometimes getting your mind off of the struggle sometimes is important. Sometimes finding yourself is important. Doing a mental recharge, I mean, that can be through pursuit of something that you really enjoy, or you can almost lose yourself in another person for a little while, and then you come back and everything comes in focus, and suddenly everything is a lot easier to deal with. But there has to be something that one finds that one enjoys in order for there to be a second win. Otherwise, you just flame out. You burn out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He is so on point, Cogee.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, he's right, because what you have to understand is men like Jeffrey and I, survivor's guilt is one of the biggest problems we'll deal with. We went to jail as kids, man. He was 17. You know how many people, when he left, they was looking up to him, or he was mentoring, or he was friends with. And then he gets out, and he is completely removed from his identity. And so was I. I got out at 42, 10 years ago, and people looked at me and said, basically, here's a blank piece of paper, tell me who you are. And I couldn't share with him who I was, because who I was back in that prison. That person that was keeping men strong enough to survive, who prison guards actually liked being around when they worked, because I was intellectually beyond the moronic behaviors. And I understand. This is why so many men get out of prison and try and kill themselves, because who they were was taken from them a second time. Not when they just went to prison, but when they got out, it was taken from them no less violently, when they were thrown out the door, given no help, and said, fare thee well. Let me see who you are. And so it was hard. And this is why I respect Jeffrey, because he did the one thing that was smart. He went back to school. You see, that's the foundation that gave the boy all of his ability to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. I didn't get out and just become nobody. I went back to school. I got a degree for a reason, because I see myself as a beacon of help for other men. And that's a wonderful thing. See, that's the strength that gives that boy all of his ability to speak. All he needs is a break, just like me. And when we get our break, all we're going to do is just run with it, because we know the value. Cogee, I know one thing. What I have left of my life is mine to make what I want of it. And what I want of it is the very best. So yes, I spoiled Jesse. I did get married 3 months ago when I moved out here, and I surprised her with a trip to Hawaii. I did all those things because that's mine. This is mine. I'm happy to say that I'm about to re-release my book, 7 Days to Live, and I got a very good opportunity with the film. And you know the best part of it? I'm doing it for everybody but myself, just like Jeffrey, because he ain't talking about what he wants for himself. He's doing it for everybody but himself. I met the boy that he got out of prison, man. It looked the man in the eye. You know how important that is to go and get someone out? I'm about to do it here in California on a big scale, and I know I'm going to get all the support in the world from people like Jeffrey.
I hear you, man. You got my support, too.
Yeah, I know that, man. I love you, boy. I want you and Jay and everybody to know that this is something that you have a very small chance at in life, don't we? to say these important, wonderful things to each other, because we don't know when the next Boston bombing shit's going to happen. And I'm sorry for my language, but we don't know when the next terrible thing's going to happen. But what we do know is, on a community level, as long as you and Jeffrey and I are willing to put our hearts out there, someone out there today has been made better for hearing it.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. You know what, Nick? Let's do this real quick. Bring people up to speed and give them a little insight of your story, because even though we're celebrating you in this last hour, you didn't change your life around, and you definitely didn't beat the odds. That's what I love about this. This is
all right. Well, so I'll give you a brief. This is good practice, because I have a storytelling coming up in Long Beach on the 27th. So very succinctly, my name is Nicholas Yarris, but I go by Nick Yarris. And I come from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At the age of 7, I unfortunately was attacked by a man who beat my head in and raped me. And because of that, I developed what's called aphasia. Aphasia is a mental disorder that causes people to break down in times of stress. Sometimes if you have a stutter, that's the simple form of aphasia. But me, I used to have it full on, so I couldn't respond to people. And it was a terrible thing that made me become a drug addict, because I couldn't face others without feeling any confidence. And so I was a tearaway drug addict at the age of 20 when I was arrested in the city of Chester, Pennsylvania. And I was falsely accused of attempted murder by a police officer. But I made everything worse when I went forward and told the police that I knew something about a crime as a newspaper story that was in my cell with me. And the crime was about a woman who had been murdered in the area named Linda Craig. I had nothing to do with the crime, but I stupidly made up that story, and it came back to haunt me, because the police then fabricated the story to fit me and put a prisoner in the cell next to me who said I confessed to him. So at the age of 20, I went to trial for my original charges of attempted murder of that police officer, and I was found not guilty, which made the local authorities even more angry. So they put me on trial and had sought the death penalty, and they made it out to be a psychological crime, where they said I went out and stalked a woman because she looked like my girlfriend. So I was treated with the worst treatment of all time. I had a 3-day trial in June of 1982, and they took my life and sentenced me to death plus 6 years. I was then sent to Huntington Prison in the mountains of Pennsylvania, where I would spend the first 2 years of my life in prison in complete silence. After that, I unfortunately escaped in 1985, and for 25 days I was on the FBI's most wanted list. But I knew I had to go back, so I turned myself back in. It was the hardest thing in my life to admit to, other than the fact that later on, after I became the first prisoner to seek DNA testing from death row in 1988, I was cheated out of every effort. The authorities figured that since I had tried to escape, I was a monster, so they tried everything they could to destroy the evidence. And when I finally got sick and tired of being in prison, and I was physically ill as well, I did the only thing I thought I had the right to do. I asked to be executed for a murder that I didn't do. And the DNA was then ordered by the judge instead, and I was proven innocent in 2003. But it took them 8 months to finally let me go, because what do you do with the monster who scared you for so long? So they finally released me in January of 2004, and I walked directly out of a maximum security level 5 cell directly into sunlight. And I had to fight ever since then to find peace. I got no help from my government. I was told that because I wasn't guilty, I was not entitled to any services. I had to go to a sex clinic and pretend that I had a sexually transmitted disease just to monitor my blood work while dying of hepatitis C. And then I get a miracle. The hepatitis C that was once killing me is gone. I have 0 in my blood right now, 10 years on from when it used to be so bad that I was terminal. I changed everything and left the United States, and for 9 years I didn't want anything to do with America. I lived in England, and I fought my way along as best I could, and I released a book. But then it got canceled, and the only one person who really read it that mattered was Jessica, and she found me on Facebook in 2009. We fell in love in 2010, and for 4 years we've been happily together. So we decided that now was right to leave England, come back to America, get my book turned into a major motion picture, And that's what we've been doing in Los Angeles. For the last 4 months, I've been going around doing every possible thing I can to help in every possible way to make my life work. I'm out here on a hope and a prayer, but we'll see how it goes. I think I got a good shot at this, but we'll see.
You know what? You definitely broke that down. Now, let me do this. Let me go to my phones real quick. Let me go to Alan, man. Alan, man.
All I can say is, wow.
That's what I was going to say. What did you think about the story you just heard? Miss Hanan, I'm coming to you next. Pull your mic around. Alan, man, what you want to say to Nick?
Nick, hey, you are a winner. You keep moving forward in life, and everything that you want to happen will happen because you're a positive person.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I appreciate that, young man, and it matters that you took time from your life to say any of that to me. You get it? That's what I get. That's what I understand. I'm nothing without someone like you saying thank you. Why else get out? Ask Jeffrey. Why else get out if we didn't want to be something decent for the people who pray for you?
That's right. You right about that. Let me do this, Nick. I got some more celebrations for you right now. Hold on, Miss Hanan, and then I'm coming to you, Paula.
Wow. I have to say wow, too. I can just say that I'm so proud of you, even though I never met you, but I feel like I could be your mother, because I'm 72, almost 72.
That is so sweet of you.
I'm so proud of you, and you are my hero.
Wow.
But that is a very lovely thing of you to say. And I have to say, one of the things that made me able to handle this a strange way was leaving America. Because my mom would say something like, at least they can't put you on death row no more. And she was embarrassed at times to be American, and I would say, Mom, don't do that. Don't let what they did to our family make us ashamed to be American. And I tell people all the time how proud I am to come back and see all these organic foods and how America has changed so much. I am so proud of someone like you. You make me proud to be an American.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So, Paula, what would you like to say to Nick?
I feel completely moved and inspired. I think that's, I don't know what else to say beyond that. I feel completely inspired and moved. I'm glad you're doing great. It gives me motivation to do better and be a better person as well. So
thank you. You know what? I think I'll do okay to next week in my 6 minutes on stage. I'm hoping that I do okay.
You will.
Yeah, you sound great. I'm moved for sure. Thank you,
Jeffrey. Jeffrey, what would you like to say to Nick's? This is a huge comeback for Exoneree. What would you like to say on that, Jeffrey? Let us have your knowledge on that.
I think it's incredible that beyond the awareness he's going to raise through his movie and the Sundance, the 1,500 showings, that he's going to work on a documentary seeking to clear somebody else who's in the same position that he was in. I think that's an amazing undertaking, and it's great that he's doing it, because he's going to have a platform where he can get more than just a few people to give a listen to what he's saying or to train their eyes on what he's saying. So I think that's awesome.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Now, one more thing real quick. Alan, man, you still with me?
I'm still with you, Cogee.
Now, okay, I want you to answer this real quick for me, Alan, man. I want you to break it down. Now, Nick did all that time in prison. He got out, changed his life, got back up on his feet. Now his life is going in the right direction, newly married, get ready to do his movie and doing everything. It's people that's out free 24/7 every day that ain't doing nothing with their life. What can they look at Nick's life and Jeffrey's life and say? Break it down for me, Alan, man, real quick.
You know what? You can look at their life and say that they want it. They want some of their life. They want to make something good that they need to make something good. And they are doing something that no one else is doing. Like you said, Cogee, I was thinking the same thing, how you have all these people out here who have so many opportunities, and they overlook it, and they're not doing anything with it.
Yeah. You're right.
Look at these two great warriors. They've been through so much. They've been through more in just one day than most people have been through their whole life.
And then on
Still more,
and then on top of that, ain't no excuses.
no excuse. They're still moving forward and making something of their life. Even though the system, America, try to take so much, try to take everything from them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are what you call survivors.
That's right. More than exonerees, they are survivors. You definitely right about that.
Guys, keep moving forward. God bless you guys. You know, obviously, God has a plan for you guys. He has a plan for all of us. And he showed you when he took that, he took that disease away from you. That's nobody but God.
Not only that, but people see, Cogee will tell you this, I was in agony. I had just finished writing a second book last year in 2012-13, and I never thought I'd write again because of the agony. Then I come out here, and I used to play a game in prison called handball, and I was playing handball with my soon-to-be adopted son, John Paul, named Pope, and we was playing handball, and something happened, and I took away the pain, and to this day, it's still, this is even greater than getting the health back, I think, because I was in agony. I couldn't do the things I wanted. I wasn't happy, no matter what success. And now I'm okay. Like, I can't stop smiling. Listen, I know I have a blessed life. I know I'm one of the lucky ones, and I'm not going to forget anybody. That's all I can do for everyone. Look, when somebody wins at the casino, the best thing they can do is just be gracious. So I've been given everything back that I've had taken from me. I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me. You'll never see me laying in the gutter begging for money. I'll be on my feet swinging because people like Cogee get that.
That's right.
We stand up for everyone but ourselves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You think Jeffrey's out there because he needs anything? The boy got everything he could possibly want. What does he really need? He needs validation from his efforts to show people that he just got out of prison, that he ain't going to be like everybody else and just walk off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're wired to do.
And he
never
also
forget, but we're never going to forget how beautiful our lives are.
And Jeffrey also needs that support, as well as me, to keep
Yeah,
going
I
to
agree.
help fight
People
for
don't
everybody.
understand how important that is.
Right, because it's not
Cogee,
fair.
88 people were exonerated last year. I met a lot of them, man.
Wow.
It's still happening. This isn't just something that goes away because somebody got exonerated. Every day someone is sitting in one of your prisons that you're paying for, then we set that man on fire with our torture by leaving him there.
That's
no,
right.
that ain't right, man. That ain't right.
That's right. Well, let me do this real quick. Nick, let me have your words of encouragement real quick because we already out of time. But but I definitely want to talk to you after the show because I want to set up another show with us because there's so much that didn't get said. But we definitely want to celebrate you today. But we'll talk about all that.
Okay.
So real quick, just
All right,
give me
so
your words of encouragement to our listeners real quick, Nick.
Before a fall comes the ego. I learned that one. All I can do from here on out is appreciate the life I have. I have a website called nickjyarris.net. You can look on there at my current life. You can also find me on Facebook. But more importantly, I just want everybody to know how grateful I was to be able to speak today. That's it.
Thank you,
I'm
my
not trying
brother.
to sell anybody
Thank you.
anything. I'm just trying to say to you, thank you, because I know how valuable it is, like so many others, to be sitting in a prison cell with no voice.
Wow.
That's right. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, Cogee, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, hurry up real quick. We're on short time and Jeffrey got to speak.
Cogee, I want to thank you for just allowing, just so many people the opportunities to, to share with us what they've been through and make us open our eyes and see that, hey, you can make things happen. You just have to want it.
That's right. You definitely right about that. You give us a whole different new conversation, don't it, Alan, man?
Absolutely.
You know that's right.
Absolutely.
Let me go to Jeffrey real quick. Jeffrey, go ahead real quick. Words of encouragement, Jeffrey.
Don't give up. Never give up.
Okay. You definitely right about that. And you know what, Jeffrey, I definitely want to talk to you also because we got so many people that's hitting Jay on the radar that want to come through this show. I mean, it's on fire. It's catching fire. They want to come through this show right here with me, with us.
By the way, Cogee, you got a case out there called Jamie Heim, Heim. It's a young woman in Nevada serving life in prison right now who's innocent out there. So
Okay.
we need to keep her on the radar. I met some of her family up at that conference, and I'm sorry, but there's a shocker going on in Nevada right where you live, and it's one of those ones where you can actually have some help. So keep that on your radar, young man.
Okay, I will, definitely. Now, hold on one minute. Let me say this. I want to say this to the public real quick. Let me get this Cogee minute in real quick. Now, y'all done seen everybody come through the show today, and y'all done heard everybody come through the show today. Y'all definitely done seen the ups and downs of the court system. Y'all done seen the highs. Y'all done seen the lows. And y'all also done seen the victories. When I brung, Nick in the last hour, and Jeffrey, also, they both are doing great. But neither one of them didn't have a silver spoon when they came in. It was a struggle, and it was a fight. And we all in this together, but it takes the help of our public, our communities. We can't do it by ourselves. Yes, Jeffrey did, get his money, but Jeffrey can't give it all away. If he give it all away, Jeffrey can't help nobody. If Nick get his money, and Nick, I know Nick has a big heart, but we can't give it all away because we won't be able to help nobody. And if we out, everybody's hurt, especially with these shows. Look what I do. And I pay for these shows out of the goodness of my heart, and I delivered so many people that don't even give me a second look after they done been straight. So all I'm saying is when you do something, you do it from the heart. You do it with love. And like I said, don't let nothing stop you, because can't nothing stop my heart. My heart is God. When I was born, it was already set and made for me to be this person who I am. I can say I don't want to do this show no more. And I just can't quit. I just can't quit. Because I was born to do it. So to all my team, to all my guests on the phone, much love to you guys. We down to 10 seconds. Keep the hope up. And like I said, everybody keep fighting. And until our next show, let's help free somebody every show that we do. All right? If not free them getting out, but let's free the public with knowledge. All right? Much love, guys. We'll be back.